Okay, we're live. It's May 26, 2022. It's 3:46 p.m. and I wanted to talk about this live because there's a lot of information that's unfolding and coming out of Uvalde, Texas, and there's a lot of conflicting reports. Let's put it that way. But before I get started with this video, let me know if you guys can hear my audio. Just tell me you can hear my audio or not. I have been known to do live streams and continue flapping my gums and nobody hears me. Yeah, this event should boil everybody's blood, but maybe that's the design. Maybe it's the design for this whole thing to boil everybody's blood and cause a further wedge of division in between everybody. Let me ask you two questions before we get started. Do anti-gun laws make countries safer? And I'm talking about historically. Historically speaking, when governments remove guns from the people, do those gun laws overall, and I'm not talking about isolated mass shooting incidents, which relatively speaking is not, that doesn't really move the needle very much. I'm talking about overall year-over-year gun violence. When people obey gun laws and gun laws are initiated on countries, I don't care what country it is, does overall violent crime go down or does it go up? And my second question has everything to do with the first question. If you were a criminal, would you want law abiders to strictly obey anti-gun laws? If you're a criminal and your job as a criminal is to commit criminal activity, whether you use a knife, a hammer, or a gun, do you want everybody else that you're going to be coming in contact with, people that you're about to victimize, do you want them to be armed or do you want them to not be armed? Because if it was me, I mean, when I've gone into work, I want to work in a safe working environment. I want a stress-free, safe working environment, and I'm sure criminals are the same. AnCap Gamer reminds me, if you want to support this stream right here and you don't want to go through the super chat system, you can go to High Impact Donate on Cash App. I really appreciate your support, guys. Really appreciate the support for the channel. If you feel like this content is worthy of it, there's 181 people in here right now, 53 likes. Hit that like button, especially before you leave. But let's go over this right here real quick. I got a bunch of things to cover, and I want to try to do it as quickly and succinctly as possible. This says, Texas DPS official refuses to say why officers didn't breach the door of the classroom for the hour that the Uvalde shooter was in there shooting children. And this is being reported everywhere now. This is coming out, and I'm going to deal with part of the conflict we have with what came out of DPS, Texas DPS, into mainstream media reporting to us that DPS said ... and then DPS goes back and says, well, you've heard this reported, but this isn't exactly what's going on. It's a completely different story. So let's listen to this guy right here.
Yes, sir.
Let me change my audio. I want to make sure you guys hear this. If you guys can hear this, can you guys hear system audio right here?
Behind that, you guys have said that he was.
Can you guys hear that? Let me know. Let me know if you can hear system audio. It's important for everybody to see this right here, because if you want a classic case of cowardice, I don't think you can be much more clear than what happened in Uvalde, or what reportedly happened in Uvalde a couple days ago. Listen to this.
I got you. Yes, sir. Behind that, you guys have said that he was barricaded. Can you explain to us how he was barricaded and why you guys cannot breach that door?
So I have taken all your questions into consideration. We will be doing updates. We will be doing updates to answer those questions.
To answer that question now, sir.
What is your name?
Shimon Prokopets from
Shimon.
CNN.
I hear you.
Because we've been given a lot of bad information. So why don't you clear all of this up now and explain to us how it is that your officers who were in there for an hour, yes, rescuing people, but yet no one was able to get inside that room.
Shimon, we will circle back with you. We want to answer all your questions. We want to give you the...
What is he, Jen Psaki's nephew? We're going to circle back on that question right here. I appreciate that journalist continuing on with the question. No. Don't blow me off. You guys have been saying X, And now we're hearing why, and we need you to clarify, why couldn't you breach that room while this guy's in there shooting?
Why? That's our job. So give us time. I'm taking all your questions. I'm taking them back to talk to the team.
Can you tell us how the door was barricaded?
Look, thank you for being here. We'll talk soon. We'll talk soon. Thank you.
We don't answer the hard questions. Now, before I proceed any further, this came out from Sagar and Jetty. He says the Uvalde mother was placed in handcuffs. We're going to be talking about her in a second, by federal marshals. Why were they on the scene? Why were there 80? How is it possible that so many law enforcement officers arrived on the scene? By the way, this is for educational purposes only. I'm not trying to lay down any kind of narrative, but I am trying to unearth the truth. And I want to ask a whole bunch of questions that I don't see being asked on fake stream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird MK Ultra Media. So all these marshals showed up, all these Border Patrol agents showed up, all the local police showed up. I mean, lickety split, man. We were talking about a coordinated effort. We were talking outfitted military style vehicles and armored personnel rolling up in a very short period of time. And yet when they show up, I've heard reports as much as 90 minutes before they decided to go into the school, as reports are telling us, shots are ringing out inside of the school. Parents infuriated, begging law enforcement, go in there, save my child. Parents trying to breach the law enforcement line. Parents getting tackled, parents getting tased, parents getting pepper sprayed, arrested, handcuffed. Uvalde mother was placed in handcuffs by federal marshals on the scene for attempting to enter the school to get her child. Another man was tased for trying to get off a bus, for getting his kids off the bus, all while Salvador Ramos was alive inside killing kids. And this is reported by the Wall Street Journal. We'll get back to this in a second. But I want to show you this right here. Let me play this. Wait, there was another one. Holy cow. How did I lose that? Oh, here it is. Let me play what Fox News said they got from DPS. And then I'm going to show you what DPS says after they supposedly gave the information to Fox News.
Malugin will begin things for us. He is on the ground there in Uvalde, Texas for us. Our coverage continues. Bill?
Well, Sandra, there's been a lot of conflicting reporting out there as to whether or not there was a school police officer on campus when this shooting took place. Texas DPS tells me there was a school police officer on campus who exchanged gunfire with this gunman. I'm told that the officer was shot and injured.
Did you hear that?
And that is when the shooter ran inside the school, got into a classroom, barricaded himself, and then just started shooting indiscriminately. Take a look at this video.
Now, before we go any further, I'm going to play this one more time. Listen to this again.
Gunman. I'm told that the officer was shot and injured, and that is when the shooter was a school police officer on campus who exchanged. Texas DPS tells me there.
Okay, Texas DPS tells me. What does Texas DPS tell you?
There was a school police officer on campus who exchanged gunfire with this gunman. I'm told that the officer was shot and injured, and that is when the shooter ran inside the school, got into a classroom, barricaded himself, and then just started shooting indiscriminately. Take a look at this.
So according to this reporter on Fox News, Texas DPS told him that he encountered a law enforcement pushback before he got into the school. There were shots fired, but listen to what Texas DPS representative says.
One more thing I forgot to mention that I want to clear up that came out early on. It was reported that a school district police officer confronted the suspect that was making entry. Not accurate. He walked in unrestricted initially. So from the grandmother's house to the bar ditch to the school, into the school, he was not confronted by anybody.
Wait a minute. He was not confronted by anybody. First of all, before we get to the kid with the guns approaching the school, being confronted by police like Fox News said you said, why was he in the ditch in the first place? Why was his truck in that condition in the first place? Wasn't there some kind of law enforcement presence that, wasn't there? What happened to the reported police chase? What happened to the reported shots fired? Why is that truck in that condition in that drainage ditch? And now you're saying that this kid walked into the school unobstructed after Fox News said he encountered a law enforcement presence. Which one is it? I mean, is Fox News lying? Is DPS lying? What's going on here?
To clear the record on that. 4 minutes later, law enforcement are coming in to solve this problem. Step by step. So, just want to clear that up. That's very important. And again, this will happen as we move forward. So, thank you. I'll take a few questions.
What is it exactly that will happen, Texas DPS official? Oh, we're going to have a bunch of contradictions. But before this whole thing's over, you're going to hear a whole bunch of change in stories because we're hammering this thing out, man. We're hammering this out. But the thing that people are most upset about is this right here. And this is from the Wall Street Journal. This is reported in the Wall Street Journal. I'm going to read some of this right here. After the conference, let's see, there's conflicts in these stories as well. The agency said 2 police officers engaged with Ramos as he reached the classroom where he barricaded himself, and both were shot and wounded. After the confrontation ended with Ramos dead, school buses began to arrive to transport students from the school, according to Ms. Gomez. She said she saw police use a taser on a local father who approached the bus to collect his kid. They didn't do that to the shooter, but they did do that to us. That's how it felt, Ms. Gomez said. And over here on this report, same thing from the Wall Street Journal. Ms. Gomez, a former supervisor, said that she was one of the numerous parents who began encouraging, first politely, please, you guys do something. We hear shots. You're not letting us get into the school. Our kids are in the school. You're telling us there's reports of a madman with a gun. You guys are heavily armed. Guys, they walk in. Have you seen the pictures? They walk in heavily militarized uniforms. They've got the shields. They've got the face shields that they can walk in. They've got all the heavy artillery, the equipment, the MRAPs, and they're going to stand outside while the parents who are unarmed are begging law enforcement to please do something to save my child. If you don't do something, I will. I'll walk in unarmed. I'll walk in without a Kevlar vest. I'll walk in without, driving up to the front door in an MRAP. I'll walk in without a shield in front of me. If this ain't, if these reports are true, if this is truly what has happened, that you got the cops outside standing down for some reports up to 90 minutes before they went in to do anything, I can't think of a better definition, a pictorial definition of what cowardice actually is. There's your demonstration right there. We're constantly calling law enforcement cowards. Well, I feared for my life. You got to understand, Judge, I thought he was pulling a knife while he was sitting in his car and he was surrounded by 25 officers with helicopters in the air and dogs on the ground. You got to understand why I was fearing for my life. Yeah, we're all bulletproof vested. Yes, we're all heavily trained and heavily armed, but we felt like we had to take the knife wielding subject out. I feared for my life. Officer safety. Hey, this is all about officer safety. You thought they were cowards before. This right here, if you were, just teetering on the edge of, I don't know if they're cowards or not, this right here should not just push you off. You should have jetpacks and it'll extend you beyond the canyon of cowardice. Ms. Gomez, a former supervisor, said that she was one of the numerous parents who began encouraging first politely and then with more urgency police and other law enforcement to enter the school. After a few minutes, she said federal marshals approached her and put her in handcuffs, telling her she was being arrested for intervening in an active investigation. Guys, if on American soil you are not free to put your life at risk to go save your kid, you're not free. You're not doing anything wrong. You're not creating a victim, in my opinion. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe there's something I'm missing here, but you're not doing anything wrong if as a parent who's overwhelmed with concern and love for the safety of their kid can't breach a law enforcement line to bravely go in there and get your kids and take them out to safety, then you're not free. If you're not free to do that, you're not free. Here's listen to this. This lady deserves a medal, Miss Gomez, if this story is true. She exerted more bravery in her little body. I don't know how big she is, but in her body, she exhibited more bravery than all the law enforcement officials that arrived on the scene, according to reports. Ms. Gomez convinced local Uvalde police officers whom she knew to persuade the marshals to set her free after she was handcuffed. Around her, the scene was frantic. She said she saw a father tackled and thrown to the ground by police and a third pepper sprayed. Once freed from her cuffs, do you think Miss Gonzalez went back to her car and trembled and said, "Oh, I hope little Johnny and little Susie are safe"? Nope, not Mama Bear. No way. Miss Gomez made her distance from the crowd, jumped the school fence, and ran inside to grab her two children while the police are still standing down outside, according to reports. She sprinted out of the school with them. Good job, Miss Gomez. There you go. Give that lady a medal. Miss Gomez, no fear, is willing to get shot to get her two kids. And according to this report from the Wall Street Journal, I don't know, maybe we'll find out later. Oh, that was just that was a fictitious story. But according to the Wall Street Journal, that's what Mrs. Gomez did after she was apprehended by local police who tried to keep her from getting her children safely out of that school. What the heck? What the heck is going on? It's this is also I can't let's see. Yeah, this is reported by the Journal. Once freed, Gomez moved away from the crowd, broke into a run, jumped the fence, and ran inside to rescue her children. She sprinted out of the school with them. The shooter had 40 minutes to an hour before law enforcement went in to neutralize them. I've heard 40 minutes, I've heard 60 minutes, I've heard 90 minutes. I don't know which one it is. He was eventually shot and killed by a Border Patrol agent who also sustained injuries. Reports on social media show footage of other parents trying to urge law enforcement to act and to try to get into the school themselves. Police kept parents out. The cowardly police kept the brave parents out. If you're going to take away anything from this video, the cowardly police, the quivering, shaking, in fear for their lives police, restrained the parents and did nothing, according to reports, about that gunman in the school taking lives. And let me show you. We have a video. Here's a video of how some of that unfolded. And I'm sure that more of these videos will come out as time passes. Listen to this. By the way, if never mind. Let me just say with the YouTube algorithm, this is all for educational purposes. I'm not going to show any graphic content, no graphic content at all, but this is history as it unfolds and everybody needs to see it. These are desperate parents pleading with law enforcement to please break the line so I can go in and get my kid if you're not going to do it. I don't know whose video this is, so I don't want a copyright strike on it, but just imagine being a parent when you're out there. Imagine thinking you don't know what's going on with your kids inside. You don't know if they're dead. You don't know if they're alive. All you know, according to reports, is that you hear shots being fired inside the school and outside the school. You got this whole line of law enforcers who are there to protect and serve, doing absolutely nothing. Nothing except apprehending, tackling, pepper spraying, arresting, and handcuffing parents. Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're exerting all their efforts and all their energies and all their resources, turning their attention toward the parents, treating them like they're the criminals, while the real criminal inside the school is wreaking havoc on innocent young lives. Reportedly. They're desperate, man. Desperate people. Don't expect desperate people not to do desperate things. And I can't think of anybody more desperate than a parent who wants to get to his child and bring him to a safe place. Desperate people will do desperate things. Cops know that. And look, who do they have on the ground? Oh, is that Ramos? Oh, no, that's not Ramos. That's a parent. And we're going to see the testimony of one of these parents who actually lost a child, what he has to say about the law enforcement presence. And again, guys, whether you think this actually happened as reported or something else, FBI, something else, it's irrelevant because we know how they're going to work this. We know what they're going to do. They're going to try to bring that federal ban onto America, that federal assault weapon. But that's all it is. We just want your assault weapons. We just want your black scary rifles. We just want to ban bump stocks. And then they got their foot in the door, and then they're going to throw that thing open and go, oh, by the way, we're going to take it all, man. Oh, if we find out you have a gun, we're going to find out that you got it, and we're going to send men with guns, note the irony, to take away your private property. And again, I'm going to come back to the two questions I asked before I started this video. Do anti-gun laws make countries overall safer? I'm not talking about just a reduction in mass shootings. I'm talking about, does overall crime go down when the people are disarmed and the only people who have the guns are law enforcement and the enforcers guarding the politicians? And the second question is, if you were a criminal, would you want law abiders to obey gun laws? Oh, if I'm a criminal, be a law abider. Please let this be the home of a law abider that I will break into. Please let me encounter a law abider in a gun-free zone. Please. People are like, what's the common denominator in all these school shootings? Well, of course it's the AR-15 assault style military grade weaponry. Well, of course it's the AR-15. Of course it's the instigator here is the high capacity magazine. Of course it is. Never mind the fact that, oh yeah, that's right. It's another gun-free zone. It's another criminal empowerment, victim creation, fish in a barrel slaughter zone. That's what it is. Because that's how it plays out, right? Standing in line at the post office, guy comes in, goes postal on everybody. Standing in a school lunch, a cafeteria, trying to, cram for your next exam to sit down to eat a peaceful GMO-laden public school meal. Shots ring out. Oh, let's throw paper clips at him. Here, I'll throw my frozen hot dog at him. Ridiculous. So let's listen to the rest of this as it plays out. Look at this guy with a taser in his hand. Oh, don't you parents come anywhere near this line. If you do, I'll tase you. If you come to try to save your kids, I'm going to take you down. Officer safety, man. Officer, this is a crime scene. You can't be, yeah, my kid is about to be a part of the crime, and I don't want that to happen, Mr. Taser. Infuriating, man. Blood boiling at this point. Look at this. People with their hands on their heads going, come on, man. And this right here is cognitive dissonance also. There's so much stuff involved in here. There's cognitive dissonance. There's Stockholm syndrome. There's people just obeying the authorities, even though they know their kids are in there and they could run in and try to save them, or at least over my dead body, my kid's going to die. Cognitive dissonance, like, I'm going to obey the cops when my kid's in there. I don't think so. Nope, I don't think so. Not willingly. Ain't going to happen. How could you possibly sit in the back seat going, okay, go ahead and save my kid. Oh, you're not going to do anything for 40, 60, 190 minutes? Oh, okay. I guess you know best. We know from the Milgram experiment that 65 people will actually deliver the fatal shock if they perceive that an authority told them to do it. This is what you're seeing right here. You're seeing from some parents like Miss Gonzalez is like, screw you. I'm not a part of this Milgram experiment. I'm not suffering from cognitive dissonance. I'm Mama Bear and I'm going to get my cubs. And there ain't nothing you can, go ahead, shoot me in the back. I'll either be shot in the back or shot from the front by the assailant inside the school, but I'm getting my kids. That's bravery. That right there is bravery. You listening, cops? Right here. Don't let you look across that line. So that's what's going on there. According to the New York Post, The teenage madman who slaughtered 19 kids reportedly, and 2 teachers. Let me pause this or it'll start playing while I'm reading it. Oh boy. Let me refresh this page. I can't stand these things. They lag and then you're reading the story and then you forget that you got the page open and then it starts playing. Teenage man who slaughtered reportedly 19 kids and 2 teachers in a Texas school spent more than 40 minutes inside as witnesses desperately urged police to charge into the building. Please do something to save my kid. Salvador Ramos barricaded himself inside the classroom before opening fire on students and teachers inside. Border Patrol agents finally breached the door about 40 minutes to an hour later when a staff member gave them a key. I'll tell you what, we got an excuse. We're just going to wait for a key. We're just going to, that's all. It's not that we're fearing for our lives or anything. We're just waiting for a key so we can get in there. Ramos didn't need a key, but we need a key. Wolverine Transparency drops $2 in the super chat. Thank you. Smash that like button, y'all. I appreciate it. 272 likes, 597 people in here. It really helps the algorithm if you do that. If you don't want to support through the super chat through the YouTube, usurious 30%. I'll take 30% of your money. Support the stream by high impact donate on Cash App, and I'll give you a shout out. If you want to get my attention in the super chat or whatever, you want to add to this, something that's germane to this that maybe you know that I don't know yet, which is probably a lot. Go ahead and add your 2 cents in there too. So it says, now the father of one of the dead children is blaming officers at the scene for not acting sooner to stop the gunman. Jacinto Cesares raced to Robb Elementary School when he heard about the shooting and arrived while police were still gathered outside. While he anxiously watched the officers standing outside his daughter's school, he suggested storming into the school building himself along with other civilian bystanders. Quote, let's just rush in because the cops aren't doing anything like they're supposed to. He said he told onlookers more could have been done. There was at least 40. This is this guy. There was at least 40 lawmen armed to the teeth, but didn't do a darn thing until it was far too late. He told ABC News. This is the guy right here. I think there's a video on this. Little bizarre for me, little bizarre, and that's all I'm going to say here on this live stream. It's just a little bit strange. A little bit strange.
Daughter, in a few words, how would you describe her?
She's full of love and full of life, and she would do anything for anybody. And to me, she's a firecracker, man. It comforts me a little bit to think that she'd be the one to help her friends in need there and then. Well, we're at the hospital about 2.5 hours. I mean, it's sad, and it's sad because there's other people that took longer. Luckily, my niece was able to be there and see her come out of the hospital, out of the ambulance, and of course she notified us, and we were at the school still, and as a father, I just booked it, and I wanted to be there as soon as I could. She was there, they couldn't confirm that it was her, but my niece saw firsthand when they pulled her out.
If everything has gone down as is reported, this is unspeakably horrific. A witness who lived across the street from the elementary school said onlookers begged officers outside the school to do something as gunfire rang out inside the building. That's what witnesses are saying. Witnesses are saying, we heard shots and maybe even screams from inside the building, and the cops were doing nothing but apprehending parents who were trying to cross the line. Sorry, there's an investigation. There's a criminal investigation. You can't do it. And if you get in our way, then you're obstructing justice. Like, throw the book at me. I'm saving my kid. Put me in jail for the rest of my life. At least my kid will be alive. And I would hope all of America would be on that person's side, and people would say, hey, you throw this, you're going to have a serious problem. You throw this parent in jail for obstructing justice, you moron. Go in there. Nearby women shouted at officers who did not go inside, said this 24-year-old witness. Local police, state police, and 80 Border Patrol officers swarmed to the scene. Talk about wait. That every time they call for backup, the person who called for backup, they're not so brave, and then they get super brave when a couple of their partners show up, and now they start giving you what for. Here's the deal: these things are going to go one of two ways for you, buddy. things ain't going to look so good for you because I got my partners here to back me up. But they got local police, state police, and 80 Border Patrol officers swarming the scene. 4 of the 80 Border Patrol officers entered the school building and killed Ramos, according to a Customs and Border Protection official. Here's one of the victims, supposedly, reportedly. There were more of them. There was just one of him, he said. He said he first watched Ramos crash his truck in a ditch outside the school, grab an AR-15. So this guy is saying that he witnessed this happen. And oh, by the way, I called the Hillcrest Memorial. Let's see. Let me see if I can go to Street View on this. I called Hillcrest Memorial Funeral Home. That's Hillcrest Memorial Funeral Home. This is Robb Elementary School. This right here, see this little sidewalk right here? I'm going to show you a street view of this sidewalk and show you where they say, because apparently we have a video now reportedly showing the kid going in. But let me show you this. Here's the culvert that the ditch that the truck was supposed to be in. Okay, there was this open gate right here. So Ramos did one of two things. He hopped this fence right here, took this long trek. What do you think this is? A football field and a quarter, maybe a football field and a half? This is a long trek. When we look at the street view, you'll see just how long this walk was. Supposedly carrying, 2 long rifles and a handgun and a whole bunch of ammunition and a backpack. So he got into a crash for some reason. Why was that? Was it because there was a police pursuit? What exactly happened? And he either jumped the fence with his backpack and all that, all the firepower, or he went around and hit the driveway right here. But when we see the actual footage reportedly being the gunman, he's coming from this direction right here. The truck was stalled right here. Why would he run to this side of the building? Maybe, okay, I see this. Maybe it's because there was a door on this side that he was trying and it was locked, and maybe he went over here if everything's above board and the way they said it. But let me drop a street view on Geraldine Street here. There's the driveway. Here, let's go to the culvert. Not going to see this on Fake Stream Media, guys. Not going to see this on Fake Stream. Here's the culvert. This supposedly is where the truck crashed. And let me just show you. Let me see if I can pull up an image. Let's see. Ramos. Okay, here's the... Okay, let's see. I'm trying to get a couple different angles on this. Here's the truck right here on this angle. That's from the front of the truck, from the rear of the truck, from Geraldine Street. There it is. Check out the tires right here. The tires on this side seem like they're okay, but for some reason the tires on the driver's side are both broken off. So here's the culvert. Here's our street view. This is the culvert he was supposedly in right here. Let me zoom in on that. You can see the weeds on the side there. The weeds right here. You got the truck. There's the weeds on the side. There's the weeds right there. So this is the culvert. See this pole right here? This is the 90-degree angle of this pole right here. So let's turn around and turn our attention to, and back, zoom out. So when he was in this truck right here, let me scoot that over right there. So when he was in that truck right here, let me do that so you can see what we're talking about. When he was in this truck right here, if that's when he crashed his truck, if he was being pursued by the Border Patrol agents, one report says he did encounter gunfire before he went into the school. One report says, oh no, those reports are false, from DPS. But let's say, did he, and this is a question, did he get out of the truck and then jump this fence, or is this a gate right here? Is that a gate that he could have easily got into? Probably not. Probably locked. Did he jump the fence with all that stuff and make his way here? Let's go this way. Make his way across this field. Here, let's see. Look at this field. This is a long field running. If he had already engaged cops, do you think they would have let him run that far, knowing that he was armed, knowing he was dangerous, knowing he just crashed his vehicle, knowing he's probably got long rifles? You know, if they encountered gunfire, I'm sure they had pretty good idea on what he had. You think they're going to let him traverse this football field in a half grassy area or come out in the street without trying to engage him and at least stop him from entering the building? Let's go back here. So truck crashes in there. Let's turn around to the school. Here's the school on the right. Here's the funeral home on the left. I called that funeral home today. It rang. I'm not kidding. It rang for 1 minute and 14 seconds. And then it went to voicemail. They might be busy. So he goes down here. He's running. We're going to go to this second driveway right here, and we're going to turn around. Well, actually, I went too far. We're going to turn around. See this office sign right here? And see these air conditioning units? Let me back out and go right here, and then turn right there. So this is the angle. When you see the helicopter view, this is the portion of the concrete that has that red on it that people are saying, yeah, blood splattered out on the concrete. We're going to go to this video right here, and we're going to see that image that I just showed you.
Video showing the shooter going into the school yesterday.
Okay, so see this? See that little walkway right there where this car is parked? There's the air conditioning units. Here's the window with the sign office by it. I don't know why this is such a blurry camera angle. People are saying, yeah, this is from a smartphone. It's like, that phone doesn't look too smart to me, or they dipped this in pancake batter before they started recording, or it's a Nokia 2003 Nokia 480p phone. But it's horrible imagery. But let me show you in comparison to this right here. This is the angle we're looking at. Here's office. Here's that window. Here's the downspout, air conditioning units, and the walkway and the parking lot right here. So they're going to try to sell us on the idea of they're saying Robb Elementary resource officer injured while exchanging gunfire. And over here it says, this is from the Telegraph. They say Texas shooting video appears to show gunman on school grounds. We'll watch this one right here. This looks like it's a little bit better than Fox News. Video appears to show the gunman right here. This guy right here. Looks like he's holding something. There's the window with the office. There's the downspout. There's the air conditioning units. So they say he's going into, this is the report. This is not me saying this. This is the report saying this appears to show the gunman going in. Doesn't look like there's any confrontation there to me. It doesn't look like he's in much of a hurry. He's not hunkering down like he's being shot at or anything like that. So we'll go back to the report from
posted to
Faux
social
News.
media. It shows that 18-year-old local resident armed with a rifle going into the school. Again, Texas DPS telling us he shot his grandmother in the face a short time before this, then drove to the school, crashed his car, got out, apparently engaged in gunfire with the school officer, hurt him, went inside, then committed this.
Got out of his truck, engaged in gunfire, and then went into the school. That's important. The timeline is so important, guys. There's so many questions that I have. As a matter of fact, let's go over some of those questions. I put a video up on my Grease Monkey videos just about 2-3 hours ago. I wrote down some questions that I'm not hearing anybody in fake stream media covering. And they're just very basic. Here are a couple of them right here. We're just in question mode. Here are some questions. How did cops know what Ramos did to his grandmother? I mean, did the report come over the radio? Did the grandmother call? Was there a shot heard from the neighbor? Did they report it? And then when they report it, what time was the report? What time? I want to get that 911 call. What alerted cops to the fact that Ramos did something that needs police intervention? What was it? If they did hear from the grandmother, what time was that info acquired? Why were Border Patrol agents in that area? Because we're told that at least 2 Border Patrol agents, and this is according to the news, at least 2 Border Patrol agents were, quote, posted in the area. Why were they there? What are their names? What are their badge numbers? Was there a firefight, and when did it happen? Because we're hearing news reports, just like we heard this one from Fox News, saying that when he got out of his truck, he engaged in gunfire with authorities. Who were the officers involved? What's the names and the badge numbers? Was there a police chase? Oh, by the way, what was the names and badge numbers, and who did they work for? Were they local police? Were they state police? Were they border patrol agents? What the heck were they there for? Why did they just happen to be in the area at that time? Who alerted them to the fact that this guy has this Ford F-150 or 250 and he's about to, do something crazy at a school? Because we've heard that there's 3 Facebook posts. The guy said, I'm going to, I'm going to do something to my grandmother. I'm going to do something to the school, and I'm out of here. Was there a police chase? Was the police chase the reason Ramos crashed his truck? How did the truck lose both tires on the driver's side like that? Where is the school and funeral home footage? Because I have no doubt, guys, that at least some of the homes out there, because it's getting so popular, have one of those doorbell ring cameras. And there's a lot of houses out there. People are concerned about crime, so they want to surveil their property and make sure they're not the next victim. I have no doubt that that's why I called the funeral home today. I wanted to ask them a couple questions. I wanted to talk to the funeral director or somebody in charge, and I wanted to ask them, well, actually, I didn't want to ask them. I wanted to actually keep it open and say, now the video footage you have for May 24th, has any law enforcement official or media outlet been there to view that footage, and have you released it to the public? I don't want to give them, is there video footage of that? Oh, no, there's no video footage. You don't want to give somebody a question where they can easily get out of it by answering no. Then where do you go from there? Just go ahead and assume there's a video camera out there because it's a funeral home. They can afford all those nice hearse out. When you go to the actual, maybe I shouldn't do that because it's got the phone number on there. And I don't want anybody to know that they got the phone number for me, but there's all these really nice silver hearse out there. So they can afford that. They can afford surveillance equipment, knock on doors around the neighborhood. Where's the surveillance equipment from or the surveillance footage from the actual school? Are they going to come out with that? Because we know they didn't come out with it back in 2012 at that event that happened in Connecticut that some YouTubers like me can't talk about. Has any agent asked for the surrounding home surveillance footage? When Ramos exited the truck, were officers pursuing him? Did Ramos hop the fence or exit the gate and walk down the school driveway? Why did the agents allow a guy with a gun to get near enough to the school that he could enter? That makes no sense to me, man. And you know what people are saying on social media right now? They're going, so much for good guys with guns. It's like, yeah, the good guys with guns shouldn't be cowards. When you're pulling out a gun on somebody for self-defense or whatever, you basically are in crisis mode. That's not something you do every day. That's not something you do probably once in a lifetime or any times in a lifetime. So when you're pulling out that gun and you're aiming to defend yourself or your family or, try to, quell a horrific event like this, you got adrenaline flowing, everything's going, and you do not care. I'm sure you care about your life, but you're looking beyond your life and how do I stop this guy? Which door did Ramos enter? Well, if that video is legit, then he entered the side door, which leads me to the next question. Why was the side door unlocked? Isn't there safety protocol? Don't we live in an age where there's mass shooting after mass shooting, and we got to make sure we are hard targets, not soft targets? Why wasn't it locked? Who failed? Let's talk to the administration. Let's talk to the supervisor. Let's talk to the principal. Did the lockdown happen while Ramos was in the building? That's a question. Did anybody get on the radio and say, hey, contact this school right here while you got time? He couldn't have gone too fast. He couldn't have closed the distance too fast between that patch of grass right here. Let's go back here. This football field that he had to traverse, football field and a half, I would say. That's a long way. You got time to get on the radio. Dispatch, call this school right now. There's a guy outside with a gun. Tell him to lock all the doors and get ready. The comedy of errors, if you want to call it that, is off the charts here. Where's the video evidence of Ramos walking through the hallways of the school? Remember, because that AL guy from CT in 2012, December of 2012, not one frame from the newly installed surveillance cameras. Not one frame. but we're expected to believe and buy and suck down and eat the official story and regurgitate it to our neighbors. Yeah, did you hear what happened? Where'd you find out about that? Oh, little Brian Stelter told him from the Communist News Network. DPS, oh, we can always trust the law enforcement officials when they stand up behind that podium and they're flanked by all those law enforcement officials behind them to make it look super official and super authoritative. They told us what happened. Obviously, that's right? They could never, the cops would never lie to the public in a press briefing, would they? Getting back to this video right here.
Shooting. Take a listen to this 911 dispatch audio.
412 to all EMS units, stand by. Do not attempt to get closer. We got shots fired.
Already shots fired, so the guy's already in the school.
As you look at video of children being evacuated from the school.
I want to see a FOIA request for, and maybe some of you guys who know how to do this, Jeff Gray and all you guys in this community, maybe we can FOIA request the 911 calls on May 24th between, I don't know, FOIA request between 10 o'clock and 1 p.m. You know, get that broad scale right there. Sift through all those 911 calls that came in during those times. Preferably around 11:30 is when they said the shooting started. So maybe 10:45 to 11 o'clock if you really want to narrow it down. Or 10:45 to 12 o'clock so you can find out, you know, listen to all the chatter. Maybe there was somebody in the area listening to the police radio chatter. Wouldn't that be interesting? I would love to hear, you know, people are First, Second Amendment auditors are always walking around with those what do they call those scanners.
It's probably on the internet.
These are 7, 8, 9, and 10-year-olds, incredibly young children in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade.
This is so reminiscent of, you know what? That picture right there is so reminiscent of, you know what? That right there. What does that remind you of, guys?
These are 7, 8, 9, and 10-year-olds, incredibly young children in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade. The school year was almost over.
Thank you, GS, for the Cash App donation. I appreciate that.
Some of these children had posted on social media that they had just gotten awards yesterday. Now some of them are dead. The latest.
Oh yeah, here's another thing. See this right here? It says, man, I hate when it does that. See how it's blurred out? It says Texas school gunman was not wearing body armor. Remember the initial reports? He was wearing body armor, and then it was like, well, he didn't have plating inside. It was more like a vest. And then, guys, there's so many questions that I have. Does anybody put the name in the room if you know where Mr. Ramos worked before, you know, at least 2 weeks prior to this thing going down? Where did he work? How much was he making? How many hours a week did he work? How much money did he have to accumulate to buy two? I've heard it was somebody said it was 2 Daniel Defense AR-15s, high-priced AR-15s, from $3,700 to $4,000 plus a whole bunch of ammunition. I'm hearing 5.56. Some people are saying 2.23, but either way, they're about the same price. Expensive. Did he steal money from his grandma? Did he steal the truck from where'd the truck come from? Did the truck come from his grandpa? So many questions.
Numbers: 19 children killed, 2 teachers killed, almost all of them in one single.
Yeah, one person got it. He worked at a burger joint. He worked at Wendy's. According to reports, he worked at Wendy's. We're going to read that report here because they interviewed his fellow workers and his supervisor. He wasn't a good worker. There were customer complaints, and he was a super introverted guy. William, thank you very much for the God, why can I not remember this app? Cash App. Jeez. If you want to drop a donation to Cash App and sidestep the 30% tax from ScrewTube, it's high impact. Donate. Thank you. Appreciate it, William and GS.
Classroom, a fourth grade classroom where that shooter barricaded himself, according to what we are being told. As you'll take a look at video of the scene yesterday, the latest in the investigation, we are learning that police are serving search
nice drone
warrants.
shot.
They are going through the shooter's social media. They're going through his phone
nice
records.
Drone shot.
They are trying to contact.
That's what we need. We need independent journalists out there with drones, with cell phone cameras, canvassing all around, getting as close as they possibly can. What's the name of that? Nikon 980p. What's that Nikon where people are using it to look real close at the moon? Get one of those things. Stand up on top of like a van or something like that and get some really good shots because they got that thing all taped up and sealed off, man. Just have 24-hour a day exposure on this school. so that people can know what's really going on away from fake stream media, away from what the local law enforcement are saying. We know there's always collusion. There's some kind of deception generally involved in this kind of thing. Yeah, P900. Thank you, Sound Minds. P900. Boy, wouldn't it be great to get a P900 and just get these close, high quality, high resolution shots that you're not supposed to be getting because, hey, this is a crime scene. You're obstructing our investigation. Look at this.
Any
drone
relatives
here.
he might have. So far, I'm told they've only been in touch, or they only know of his.
Of course, they got that
grandmother.
stupid
He's
Chiron in
described
the
as
way.
A loner. And take a listen to what this local resident had to say as well. This is a very tight-knit community of about 15,000 people. Take a listen to what she had to say.
Really, it's really hard to see what happened today here. As a grandma, yeah, it is very hard.
I'm gonna skip through
I
this.
can't imagine going through that with one of my grandkids.
Of this more described as
Oops.
a loner. And take a listen to what out here, Texas Deep.
Sci-Fi Bride, the video guy, dropped a $10 super chat. Thank you very much. He says, much love and respect, brother. Always film the police. Always film the police. Always film the police. Always film fake stream media. Remember that guy who filmed CNN while they were trying to put together that FAKE rally? And they were trying to gather them and pack them real tight so they could get these real tight shots and say hundreds and hundreds of people showed up at this anti-gun rally or whatever. I can't remember what the rally was. It had something to do with religion and a certain kind of religion, but it was hilarious that somebody was able to capture what really goes on behind the scenes when they set up one of these scenes from the Counterfeit News Network. So always film the police and always film media when they're on the scene. Always, always, always. Make sure you got extra batteries. Make sure you got extra storage space and never let up because you never know. Maybe it'd be good to have like dual cameras. Like if you had two P900s and when one battery went out or the memory was used up, then go to the other one and then charge that next one up. And then whatever memory is just a picture of a building and nobody's coming out and they're not, removing any. Like I want to see if anybody had the patience to just camp out there and watch the what coming out and count every single one of them. You know what I mean?
PS telling us as of this morning there are still 17 other people injured as a result of this shooting. That includes the suspect's grandmother, again, who was shot in the face. We are told she is in serious condition at a hospital in San Antonio. We are also learning that the gunman here apparently bought 2 AR-style rifles legally here in the Uvalde area in the days leading.
Oh, they're going to capitalize on that. Oh, he got him legally, huh? Well, we need to make legal just a little bit more difficult for everybody then, right? We need to make sure we punish the many for the indiscretions of the few. And I mean very few. Relatively speaking, this doesn't happen new numbers-wise. In a population of 323 million, supposedly, in America, that's not a lot of deaths. More people commit suicide every year using a firearm. By the way, when they give that number of 40,000 due to gun violence every year, to just take 67% right off the top, those are people who wanted to exercise their freedom to end their lives. And by the way, on American soil, land of the free, home of the brave, if you're not free to end your life, you're not free. Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible to think about that somebody has come to such a point in their life. Maybe they're in so much pain they can't tolerate it. Maybe they're stricken with grief because of a loss of a loved one. Maybe they're mentally not there and they want to end their life. But if you're not free to do that, to end your own life, you're not free. Just like if you're not free to be a concerned parent and run in and put your life in mortal danger and get your kid out of that school and get them out of a dangerous position and put them to safety, then you're not free. But 67% of those 40,000 due to gun crime every year is people who take their lives. And it's questionable about the other numbers, guys. Oh, and by the way, long rifles and so-called gun crime, there's no such thing as gun crime. People commit crimes, not inanimate objects, but they call it gun crime. In 2016 FBI stats, if you can believe that, 323 by long rifle, and it was like 5,700 by knife and 2,500 by handgun. So they want to get rid of the long rifles that caused, in their minds, 323 lives, but they're not going to do anything about the handguns that did $2,500 people worth of damage, or the knives that caused even more than that. Is ridiculous. If somebody can pull up that chart and put the link, I'll bring that chart up. It was FBI crime stats from, I believe it was 2016. That's the report that came out this year after the CDC said 200,000 women use firearms to defend themselves every single year. Think about that. 200,000 women use firearms to defend themselves every year, to keep themselves from being raped, to keep themselves from being beaten, to keep themselves from being murdered. If you're a politician out there and you want to enact stricter gun laws that make it more difficult for those women to get firearms so they can defend themselves, then you're anti-woman. If you want to make it harder for black people to get firearms, you're anti-black. No, this is broad brush for all Americans. Yeah, but that includes black and brown Americans, right? So you're against minorities. You want to make it harder for minorities to have a personal protection device so they can have some kind of a chance against the aggressor. Sci-Fi, the video guy, just became a member. Thank you, guys. Don't forget, there is an option to become a member. It's only $2.99 a month if you want to support the channel. Let's go back to this right here.
Up to the shooting, a Texas state senator saying he got a briefing from the ATF that he purchased those weapons on May 17th and May 20th. Also purchased on May 18th 375 rounds of ammunition. So
wow.
Clearly he was stocking up in the days leading up to this attack.
Clearly he was not only stocked up, he was loaded. He had time to buy dresses, and he had time to buy guns and ammunition, all on a Wendy's budget. We're going to get to the Wendy's. You're going to see how much he worked, and we're going to do a little figures. We're going to do a little calculation on how long he had to save. Approximately $4,200, $37 to $4,200 is my estimation. If he truly bought the kind of guns that they're saying that he bought. He managed in 16 to 20 weeks to save up enough money to buy those firearms and dresses and lipstick and what's that? What is that called? Accessories.
They found one of the rifles in his crashed car, the other inside of the school where the shooting took place.
Oh, okay. So he traversed that course with not 2 rifles, but 1, and supposedly a handgun.
We'll send it back to you.
Hey, Bill, it's John here. Let me come back to the school resource officer, because we did hear Chris Olivares from Texas DPS, who we'll be talking to in just a minute, speaking to that last hour, that this officer was on scene, engaged the suspect as he ran up to the school, got off a couple of shots, but he himself was hit.
Whoa, I didn't see this part, guys. Hold on a second. Who was the DPS? Wait, we have to do some live stream investigative reporting here. DPS officials refused to say why officers didn't breach the door. That's that one. But where's the one? Okay, so who is this guy? Director Escalon. Director Escalon. Who did this guy just say?
One of the rifles in his crashed car, the other inside of the school where the shooting took place. We'll send it back to you.
Hey, Bill, it's John here. Let me come back to the school resource officer, because we did hear Chris Olivares from Texas DPS, who we'll be talking to in just a minute.
Chris Olivares from Texas DPS. But then this Escalon guy gets up there and says, no. Reported that school district police officer confronted the suspect that was making entry not accurate. He walked in unobstructed. So this guy is saying Chris Olivares was on there saying, no, it was obstructed. There was engagement.
Speaking to that last hour, that this officer was on scene, engaged the suspect as he ran up to the school, got off a couple of shots, but he himself was hit. And I heard you raise the question as to why the school didn't.
That is a big deal. That is a big conflict. They got some serious problems in that story. It's either he ran into pushback or he walked in unobstructed with 0 pushback. Which one is it? It can't be both. It can't be both, because we are talking about the time frame before he entered the school.
Go into instantaneous lockdown after that engagement. Why was there still a door open?
Well, that's the golden question, John, is how was that shooter able to get into the school? Let's assume you could hear the gunshots happening outside, right? There was an active firefight going on. How did that gunman gain access to the school? You saw that social media video where it appears he's walking up either a ramp or some stairs to get inside. Clearly, he was able to get inside. It's unclear if there was a door that was left open or if it was unlocked or if he was somehow maybe...
If it was left open and the school actually had a safety protocol that required it to be closed, I wonder why it was open. Who was responsible for the securing of that door? Randy Thomas, thank you for that. What's it called? Cash App. I can't even get that. Thanks for the Cash App. I appreciate it. That's Randy Thomas and William and GS.
Be able to shoot his way into it. We're waiting for those details to come out, but that absolutely is going to be one of the major questions of this investigation. If there was a car crash outside, if the police were after him, if there was apparently a shootout outside, you would think that would be heard, the doors would be locked. We don't know what happened, we don't want to speculate, but the bottom line is that gunman somehow did gain access, not just into the school, but also into the classroom, a 4th grade classroom, where he then barricaded himself and apparently just started killing everybody inside.
Bill, just a last follow.
Wow. Before we go on anymore, I just feel, let's see, let's go back. I'm going to call this funeral home again right now. I'm going to go ahead and do it live on the air. If you guys want me to, put a 1 in the room. I'm going to go ahead and call this funeral home. I'm not going to post the number up here. I know that wouldn't be doxing because it's public. Anybody has access to this, but I'm not going to post it online. But I feel like I want to call because I want to ask the funeral director or the supervisor or whoever's in charge if they heard the gunfire. Did they witness anything? 1, 2, 3. Thanks for becoming a member. I'm going to go ahead and call. I don't see any 1s in the room, but oh, there's some 1s. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call this number. Calling Hillcrest Memorial Funeral Home.
Hillcrest Memorial Funeral Home. How may I help you?
Hi, can I speak with the funeral director or the person in charge, please?
He is not in the office at the moment.
Okay.
I can get your name and number and have him call you back.
Well, is there somebody who's right below him? Just somebody who could just answer some real quick questions. I'm from, my name is Brian. I'm from GVM Media, and we were just calling to see if the police could take a look at, or if the media could take a look at the surveillance footage that you have from the cameras on May 24th, the incident that happened across the street.
Yes. That's a question or answers for the director. All I can do is get your name and number and have him call you back.
Okay, sounds good. I'll tell you what. Can you patch me through to a voicemail and I'll just leave my information there?
Yes, hold on 1 second.
Okay, thank you very much. Oh, let me. I wanted to ask her one more question. What's that? No, I know. Yeah, I'm not going to leave my number there, guys. Shoot, I wanted to ask, did you happen to be on duty that day? And if you did you hear shots fired? Shoot. Well, we'll just go on with this. I'm surprised they got through. Last time I tried to call, it took 1 minute and 14 seconds for the answering machine to pick up. So that was Hillcrest Funeral Home. We don't answer questions. Well, the director's not in. Shoot. Maybe I'll call tomorrow and see if I can get him in. Well, the question that I would have is, can I speak with anybody, or actually, I'd like to speak with anybody who was there on May 24th, between 11:30 and 12:15. And if they heard shots ring out, did anybody see the vehicle crash into that culvert across the street? Did anybody see anybody walk through that field or on the road toward the school?
Follow up on that, and we'll hear more about this in just a minute, and very specifically more about these children and teachers who lost their lives in all this. But there was an effort to go around the building. Now, knowing this all happened in that 4th grade classroom, there was an effort by local police to go to the windows around this school, break those windows, to try to help anyone who could escape while this was still ongoing.
Then why were they waiting for a key to the door? Because that's what you would do. If you know somebody is in there and pleading for help and their lives are hanging in the balance, it's like we always say, when seconds count, police are minutes away. Well, in this case, reportedly, when seconds count, police are 90 minutes away or 60 or 40 or whatever news report you want to listen to. Interesting stuff, man. I wanted to, let's get with, how did this guy afford 2 of those rifles and a whole bunch of handguns? Here's what some people are saying. Look at this. The adults were being violent, trying to get past cops. That itself is immoral. It's immoral for a child. This guy is actually, I can't even believe that there would be anybody who would have this thought arise in their minds. This is ridiculous to me. The adults were being violent, trying to get past cops. That itself is immoral. The cops had a moral duty to stop the parents from getting killed. They don't have a moral duty. They don't have a Supreme Court duty, and they won't even do it themselves. Gonzalez versus Castle Rock and Descheny versus Winnebago County solidify from the Supreme Court that no law officer has any obligation to protect you in any way. And the Gonzalez versus Castle Rock, we've talked about this a lot on the broadcast, but the Gonzalez versus Castle Rock was in the context of Mrs. Gonzalez having a restraining order against Mr. Gonzalez. In that context, the Supreme Court said, even with a restraining order, the police are still not obligated to protect your kids. What did Mr. Gonzalez end up doing with that court order? He went home. He got his 3 kids. He did that to them, drove them with their bodies in the back of the truck to the police station, had a shootout with the police, and it was death by cop. Castle Rock, I think it was Castle Rock, Colorado versus Gonzalez. Look at that. Police are under no obligation to protect the public. I don't care if the side of their car says to protect and serve. It's all a joke. Max Love drops 5 pounds and says, who are the 2 guys standing in the street while Ramos entered the school? Looked like cops just watching. Go back and check the video footage. I didn't even see that. Let's see. Let's go to this video footage right here. Where were they standing? Looks like cops just watching. Oh, is that a tree or is that? Oh, are these 2 guys? Wait a second. Look at this. I did not see them. Whoa, good catch, Max Love. I don't know who these guys are. Let's see. Let's slow it down. Playback speed. Let's do 0.25. Look at that. It looks like the legs of 2 people. It wasn't a tree. I mean, there is a tree right there. That is a tree. I don't know where the trunk, one of these, if that's a tree right there and it's straight down in the ground, then one of these is at the trunk or it's obscured by 2 guys, but that looks like the body of a guy. This right here to me looks like it's, maybe a belt. It's so good. This is almost like the Sasquatch video. Why is this video so grainy? Max Love, I appreciate you pointing that out. Why is this so freaking grainy? Let me blow this up so you guys can see it. Tell me what you guys think. If this is a video of the guy going into the building, which is what they say this is right here. Let's see. They say that's the guy going into the building, the kid, Ramos. This sure does look like, that looks like pant leg, utility belt with something hanging off it, radio, firearm. Looks like, it's a dark spot. I don't know. I don't know. Is this an intentionally grainy video? Let's watch this in slow-mo. This is at 0.25%. Okay. This is the guy, they say, appears to show the gunman at the primary school. I thought it was an elementary school in Texas. There's his head right there. Disappears beyond the air conditioning units. Let's look at that again. Oh, they kind of did it fast on that one. Look at this, guys. Looks like they're just standing there kind of looking in that direction. I don't know, or that direction. And how did this person know to video record this? And is this the only video recording there is? Everybody's got video cameras. Everybody's got video cameras. There's dash cameras, rear facing, front facing, everywhere. See, that's an example of none of us is greater than all of us. I did not see that at first. $18-year-old. See what else we got. All right, that's it on this. Good catch, Max Love. We're an hour and 9 minutes into this thing. I wanted to go to his Wendy's. How did he afford these firearms? How did he afford these expensive firearms? Anyway, let me finish what this guy said right here. The adults were being violent, trying to get past the cops. The cops had a moral duty to stop the parents from getting killed. That's just a bold-faced lie. You don't act violent towards someone to save someone else. Oh, you don't? You don't? You wouldn't push somebody out of the way to save your kid? You really wouldn't do that? You wouldn't put your life on the line? You wouldn't be desperate? You wouldn't be gritting your teeth and sweating and just in frustration that these people who are there to protect and serve are trying to keep you from saving your kid? Oh my goodness. Let's see. Okay. Uvalde shooter. This is being reported on a couple of news outlets. Uvalde shooter, and this supposed reporter, Christopher, I can't pronounce his last name, but supposedly did some interviews at the Wendy's restaurant. Wouldn't that be interesting to go and do our own interviews so we could actually get the straight scoop with video cameras rolling unedited? See, that's what somebody needs to do, is go down there with a really nice, high-powered, it's probably too late now, camera, and just 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm just streaming this thing. That's all I'm doing. That's all we're doing. Uvalde shooter got a job at Wendy's where he saved $4,000 reportedly to buy rifles used in the massacre. And then we're going to go over how much we think he made. Salvador Ramos, Uvalde gunman, worked at Wendy's where he spent $4,000 to save on weapons and ammunitions during Tuesday's school. You know what? Searching for meaning in the warped mind of a disaffected teen, the teenage gunman, we don't have to do that, worked at Wendy's to save about $4,000 to purchase the guns. A former coworker of his described the shooter as a rude, creepy, and scruffy guy. It's almost like he's kind of like an emo looking dude, you know, like kind of dark. What's the other name? Goth. It's kind of like gothic / emo. And people like that can tend to be super weird, super introverted, like not social, inappropriate when they do open their mouths, who she would keep her distance from because he felt unsafe. Grace Cruz, also 18, told The Sun, let's see if there's a direct link to this article, that she worked with the demented teen at the fast food chain restaurant in Uvalde, Texas, located just minutes from Robb Elementary School. I wonder if we can find Wendy's on this map right here. Where is Wendy's on this map? Usually you gotta, there's a fork. Let's see. If I can find it quick, I'll try to. How far away from the school is it? Uvalde Medical Hospital, Uvalde Memorial. Whataburger is right there. Where's Wendy's? Walmart Supercenter. I would say if they're going to have a Wendy's, it's going to be right there in the city. Yeah, I don't see it. She claims Ramos openly talked about using the money he earned at Wendy's to purchase guns and ammo, adding that he suddenly quit weeks before Tuesday's shooting. Quote, he told us he was saving up money for guns and ammo. We would ask him, why would you spend your money on that? Why not? Spend it on a car or something useful. Well, you know, certain people get caught in certain situations where they feel like, wow, I sure could use a useful firearm right now, and all I have is a cell phone to call 911. Oh my gosh, I've misappropriated my funds. Cruz said, quote, I guess once he got enough money, he quit and stopped showing up. Let's see what this is. This is the National.
The horror is sinking in. One classroom of kids fleeing.
Stop, and you think about it, and then you're okay.
Hold away. Ramos was a troubled high school for
the first minutes before arriving at the school.
I just want to see if we can get somebody who worked with him, because I haven't seen this video right here.
Yes, with a fresh tattoo marking the worst day in Uvalde, watched his 11-year-old nephew.
Oh man. All right, I don't see anything about Wendy's right here. So, disaffected and seemingly powerless, the gunman came to work at Wendy's after dropping out of his senior year in Uvalde High School last year. The teen worked at the outlet from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. 5 days a week. So he's working 5 hours a day, 5 days a week. That's 25 hours. How long would you have to work there earning $10 an hour to earn your first $4,000 without taxes being taken out? 5 hours a day times 5 days a week is 25 times $10 an hour is $250 a week times 16 is around $4,000. So he would have to work 16 weeks. That's if they didn't take money out. If he made $10 an hour, it could be more, it could be a little less, but I just wanted to get in between range. I can't imagine that in Uvalde, Texas, they're paying more than, $10-12 an hour for, people who aren't really good at their jobs, because they're going to tell you, or at least one of these people who reports to have worked with them said he didn't do a really good job and he had customer complaints. So that's 16 weeks if they didn't take anything out, but they do take something out. So 20 to 22 weeks he would have to work, earning $4,000 or $4,300 to buy the firearms that they said he had and the ammunition they said he was in possession of. And that's assuming that he didn't spend anything else on cosmetics, dresses, and all that other stuff. Or anything. I mean, really? You're going to... Or maybe, did he have access to his grandmother's safe? Did he do that thing to his grandmother and then steal her money and then steal the truck out of the front driveway? I don't know. We don't know. There's not a whole lot of questions being asked here, and we're not getting a whole lot of straight answers, in my opinion. Rumors indicated Ramos dropping out of school after being constantly bullied for his weird dress sense, lisp, and on account of him being poor. Really? Revenge would be sweet and swift. Let's see. After having alluded to confidants that he was saving up to buy weapons, the teen, upon turning 18 on Monday, May 16th, was legally able to buy. They're going to capitalize on that. To go to a local gun store dealership where he, in fact, bought not one, but two AR-15 assault-style military-grade weapons. You have to make this sound as bad as possible and vilify an inanimate object. It's ridiculous. What the hell? What is an assault-style rifle? These are only made for killing, the politicians tell us. Yeah, that's what guns are for. That's why they make guns. It's for killing. God. Oh. Proceeded to brag about the newly acquired weapons on social media just days after buying them. That's another thing. They're going to go after. You start posting your firearms on social media. Oh, FBI is going to be all over that. NSA is going to be all over that. Probably not a good idea, because there is no free speech. There is no free press in America. The teen spent money he had saved from working at Wendy's. Do we believe that? I want to know when his start date. When did he start at Wendy's? What was his date of hire? How much was he making? I want to verify exactly how many hours he was working to accumulate $4,000 in such a short period of time. With Ramos dropping an estimated $4,000 on weapons, ammunition, and tactical style vest, the boy's grandfather, speaking to ABC, always broadcasting crap, said the family had no idea Salvador had legally purchased the two weapons last week. Get this. Like, people gloss over this kind of stuff. Had no idea. I didn't know he legally purchased them. The relative insisted, had he known his grandson had the weapons, that he would have reported him to the police. For what crime, Grandpa? For what crime? He legally bought them. Now, he could report it to the police because he's like, man, this guy should not, this emo dude should not have a firearm. This guy is mentally unstable. But then what would that be? That would be the red flag law that nobody wants to see. And that's what Congress, which is the opposite of progress, is trying to blanket all over America, is a universal federal red flag law where they can literally eliminate your Second Amendment, violate and disrespect your Fourth Amendment, come into your house and steal your weapons because a neighbor freaked out because he saw that you were carrying a gun for the protection of yourself, your family, and the neighbor who called the cops to steal your firearms. Speaking to The Sun, Ramos' former colleague, Grace Cruz, this is back at Wendy's again, said Ramos worked in the fast food outlet's drive-thru and responsible for handing out orders to customers. Oh boy. Are you still good? Put a 1 in there. Are you still going to fast food restaurants? Seriously, it's 2022. Everything we know about fast food restaurants, how bad they are for you. Are you still, when was the last time you ate at a fast food restaurant? Just be honest. Be honest. No judgment, no shame, no judgment here. Just where was it and when? Come on, tell us. Still going to a fast food restaurant being served food by these people. While claiming Salvador wasn't very good at his job. So here's the testimony of how he worked. She claims customers would complain about him along with having an unkempt appearance. He didn't smell, but he was definitely scruffy. Something was off about him. I didn't feel safe around him, so I always kept my distance, even though we worked the same hours, an ex-coworker told The Sun. He quit just 2 weeks ago, but there were a couple of times before that where he almost got fired for being rude. Cruz also alleged that Ramos would brag about his plans to spend his earnings on guns and stated she thought he suffered from mental illness. He had mental problems, emotional problems, personal problems, every type of problem, she said. And apparently this guy had some kind of run-in with the police. The police knew about him according to reports, fake stream reports at that. So there's a lot of ball dropping here. And the ball dropping that didn't happen is is this going to show Wendy's? Oh, here we go right here. Here's the Robb Elementary School. Here's the elementary school right here. Ooh, let me see if I can expand this for you. I did not know that this was here. All right, let's take a look around here. Let's put this next to this right here. All right, so here's the funeral home. Here's U.S. Highway 83. All right, that's due south, north, and what do we got here? North Getty, Uvalde, North Grove, West Main Street. So let's get a Q on West Main Street. Where is, S. Getty Street. There it is. There's North Getty. Hood Street, family home of Ramos. He lived here. He worked here. The school is here. And Ramos' grandmother's house is right there. Let's see if we can find this white square building right here. Where is it? Oh, okay. So we're switched around here. See this square building right here? I think I can move this, can I? Let's see. How do I move this? Oh, you can do it on Google Earth. Oh, I can't rotate because we're not on Google Earth. But this white square top right here is this building right here. And you can see this empty field or something next to it. Maybe it's a water plant or something. There it is right here. So if Robb Elementary School is here, then that means his grandmother lives over here. Anyway, we'll go back to the street view here. Let's see. Yeah, there's Hillcrest Funeral Home. We'll drop a little man, take a look around. All right, so there's the school right there. And then I'll show you the sign that's become popularized on fake stream media. I'll stop in the middle of the intersection here, like the Google car once did. But there's the actual sign. Looks like he entered, if it's true, looks like he entered from this door over here on the side of the building that was closest to that culvert. Anyhow, that is that. Let's go back right here. I would really like to see, well, wouldn't it be awesome if you had like 3 or 4 independent journalists that just committed, hey, we're staying out here till this thing's over. We're going to record 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you want to support our live stream, we're going to be out here. Doesn't matter. We'll have somebody drive up to Wendy's and get us some fast food. Joking. And we'll sleep here, and we'll eat here, and we'll pee here, and we'll make sure that we don't take our cameras off of this because we don't trust fake stream, CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra Media. All right, guys, that's what I wanted to cover. I wanted to do it in less than an hour. We did it in 1 hour and 23 minutes. Thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you to all my mods who kept everything going smoothly in the chat room. I appreciate it. Randy Thomas, William GS on the Cash App support, and I appreciate the super chats. Of course, I can't pull the super chats up from Sci-Fi Bry, the video guy, and somebody else. I can't remember. Sorry about that. Okay, guys, please do me a favor. There's 667 likes in here, 775 viewers. Please hit that like button before you go. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this channel and my Grease Monkey Videos channel, which is right here. I'll just go to the main, and High Impact Flicks. And hey, what's up, Des Sherwood? I haven't seen you in a long time. By the way, the intro music comes from Des Sherwood. Des Sherwood, make sure you subscribe to him and give him some love. And all the First Amendment auditors that do a fantastic job, give them your support. They need it. It's not easy to be on the front lines trying to expose tyranny and expand freedom in America. So subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification. Oh, it's 697 likes. Can we get up to 700? Can we get 700 likes? There's 703. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I will see you guys in the next video. Please share this video. It's free to share. Hit the like button, and I will see you guys in the next live stream. Take care. Oh, and become a member. Become a member before you leave. $2.99 a month. That's nothing. See you later.